Welcome to the Data Science Rabbit Podcast, the official podcast of the Data Science Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Michael Bagalman. On this show, we'll be falling down the rabbit hole into the data science of human body temperature. So come along and join the fun.
The Data Science Rabbit Podcast with Michael Bagalman.
Today's sponsor is the concept of p-values, because nothing says, I've statistically analyzed this, like saying it with a p-value. Want to make your data appear convincing? Just p it. But remember, a low p-value doesn't necessarily mean your research is groundbreaking. Sometimes it just means you're frighteningly good at p-hacking. P-values, because who needs practical significance when you have statistical significance? Dive into the sea of data and fish for that 0.05 like your grant depends on it. After all, in the realm of data science, the P stands for Please Publish Me. When smartwatches first came to market, I thought they were silly and unnecessary. Electric can openers, in tech parlance, something being up-leveled technologically that didn't need to be. Now, I think they might be a defining moment in the history of healthcare. And it all comes down to numbers. We all have those health numbers burned into our brains. You know, things like blood pressure, cholesterol, and body temperature. For this episode, we're going to focus on that last one, because it might just make you question everything you thought you knew about your own body. 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, the normal human body temperature. It's a number that's been drilled into our heads since childhood, and it's wrong, because of course it is. 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, the body temperature equivalent of the check is in the mail, or I have read and agreed to the terms and conditions. We all say it, but deep down we know it's not quite true. The magical 98.6 figure doesn't come from some rigorous scientific study published in a peer-reviewed journal last month. No, it dates back to the 19th century, courtesy of a German physician named Karl Reinhold August Wunderlich. In the 1860s, Wunderlich collected millions of temperature readings from about 25,000 patients and concluded that 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit was the average, and we've just kind of rolled with it ever since. I'll say again, Wunderlich collected his temperature data in the 1860s. To put that in perspective, that's the same decade that gave us the Pony Express. So, you know, cutting-edge stuff. To anyone listening who time-traveled from the 1860s, welcome to the future. We have smartphones now, but we're still using your temperature scale for some reason. Perhaps you'll be surprised to know, but people vary. A 2019 study looking at over 9,000 subjects found that the average temperature was actually closer to 97.9, and the normal range anywhere from 96.4 to 99.3. That's a pretty wide spread. And it's not just temperature. Think about other health benchmarks like blood pressure or cholesterol. What's normal for you might be different than what's normal for me. It's almost like we're all unique individuals or something. In the age of personalized medicine, it's absurd that we're still using these one-size-fits-all benchmarks. Your normal temperature might be different from mine, influenced by things like age, gender, time of day, and whether or not you just ate a ghost pepper. Oh no, my temperature is 98.7. I think I'm dying. Very slowly. Medical professionals consider 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit as the official start of a fever. Why? Because Wunderlich said so in the 1800s. Can't we do better than that? Here's where it gets interesting. With the rise of wearable tech like smartwatches, we have the potential to modernize how we understand our health. These devices can continuously monitor our temperature, heart rate, sleep patterns, and more, giving us a wealth of data that was never before accessible. And with modern data science, we could be doing so much more with this information. We could use clustering algorithms to identify subgroups within the population that have distinct normal temperature ranges. Imagine your smartwatch telling you, hey, based on people similar to you, your normal temperature range is actually between 97.5 and 98.5 degrees Fahrenheit. We could also use anomaly detection to flag sudden changes in your temperature that might indicate a health problem, like an infection. Your smartwatch could send you an alert saying, your temperature has spiked outside your normal range. Might want to check in with your doctor. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. By combining continuous temperature data with other health metrics like heart rate, activity levels, and sleep patterns, we could paint a highly detailed, personalized picture of your health. Your smartwatch could essentially become your personal health coach, tailoring its recommendations to your unique physiology. The point is, we have the tools to do better, to move beyond these rigid, outdated benchmarks and towards a more personalized understanding of health. With wearable tech and advanced data analysis, we could shift from a reactive, one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare to a proactive, individualized one. And that has the potential to be truly transformative. As a data scientist, I don't want to die someday because of a lack of applying modern data analysis to the plentiful data about human biology. Yes, as a Gen Xer, I have a deep appreciation of irony, but I have my limits. The massive potential to rethink established truths in medicine and embrace new technologies driven by everything from smartwatches to machine learning, well, the word revolutionary comes to mind, despite its overuse in tech culture. What other outdated medical advice are we clinging to? An apple a day keeps the doctor away? Carrots improve your eyesight? Leeches are a cure-all for whatever ails you? The next time someone tells you 98.6 is the normal temperature, don't just nod along. Ask them if they also believe the Earth is flat and that leeches are a legitimate medical treatment, because that's the era we're talking about here. In the meantime, if you're feeling a little warmer than 98.6, don't panic. Remember, you're not a number, you're a person. A unique, beautifully complex person who deserves better than a 19th century one-size-fits-all approach to health. As for me, my doctor told me that my body temperature is always a bit lower than normal. I said, maybe it's because I'm so chill. He said, no, it's probably because you're dead inside. He knows me so well. Over a decade ago, I was the head of data analysis for an ad agency. At one of our clients, a new head of digital marketing had been hired, and he'd flown to New York to meet with the various agency teams. There was a big meeting in one of the conference rooms, and a senior member of the data team was there, but I figured I should drop in to say hello. When I got there, the discussion was deep into optimizing digital ads, so I took a seat and was waiting for a chance to introduce myself. Only a moment later, the client asked, "Why aren't you using Taguchi designs for the A/B testing on these ads?" Everyone in the room, including the senior analytics guy, was silent. I took the opportunity to introduce myself and give the impression that the quiet had been a result of the team expecting me to answer the question. Not every data analyst knows Taguchi. I think of it as somewhat specialized. I'm impressed, I said. Not many clients know their testing so well. As to why we aren't using Taguchi, as you probably know, that design uses both an inner and an outer array, so... But he cut me off at that point. I don't really know anything about that, he said, but a friend of mine said that would be a good question to see if you guys knew what you're doing. I don't need to hear the rest. I soon made my excuses to leave the meeting, and on the way out the door, as I passed one of the agency partners, I whispered, "That's how I earn my salary." Yes, once upon a time, knowing a truckload of facts made you the superhero of the boardroom. You were the go-to oracle. Then bam, the digital revolution hit us like a tidal wave, transforming everyone with a smartphone into a potential Einstein. Suddenly having the entire internet in our pockets turned the game on its head. It's not just about knowing facts anymore. The real value? Understanding them. We must dive deeper into the ocean of knowledge. It's not enough to skim the surface anymore, like a stone skipping on the water. No, we're talking deep-sea diving into the Mariana Trench of understanding. After all, with a few swipes on our screens, anyone can become an overnight aficionado on anything from why the sky is blue to the secrets of the universe. But the question remains, do you really get it? Today, with search engines and Wikipedia and AI, and the meeting almost certainly being held as a video conference, anyone could have answered the question. Any additional value I could bring would come only from explaining the thinking rather than just skimming the surface. And along with understanding, the art of communication, our trusty vessel sailing across the vast seas of information. It's the gangplank that connects your deep understanding with the rest of the world. If the client didn't understand Taguchi designs, but wanted to, then my full understanding wouldn't matter that much. Being able to explain it is an even more valuable skill. So as we come ashore at Information City, here's the kicker. In the loud, bustling marketplace of the digital age where everyone's vying for attention, the victor isn't the one shouting the loudest. It's the one speaking with crystal clarity. It's not about stockpiling facts like a doomsday prepper with canned beans. It's about cultivating a rich, deep understanding and sharing it in a way that enlightens and empowers others. As we hop out of today's rabbit hole, keep this gem in your pocket. Dive deep, speak clearly. And now, a word from the data scientist nonpareil himself, Cornelius P. Snarkington.
This week, let us once more revisit the words of wisdom from the Fourth Doctor of Doctor Who, as embodied by the incomparable Tom Baker.
You know, the very powerful and the very stupid have one thing in common. They don't alter their views to fit the facts. They alter the facts to fit the views.
Esteemed listeners, gather round as Cornelius P. Snarkington regales you with a tale of data science, a noble pursuit marred by the all-too-human penchant for self-deception and wishful thinking. In the exalted realm of data science, our sacred charge is to unearth the truths lurking within the labyrinthine confines of data, revealing insights that illuminate decisions, strategies, and innovations. Yet, the siren song of confirmation bias. Subtle and insidious, it lures even the most well-intentioned analyst to contort data to fit preconceived notions or desired outcomes. This perilous dance undermines the integrity of our craft, leading to decisions as misguided as a ship steered by a drunken captain. In business strategy, public policy, or scientific research, warping data to fit a narrative is a folly fraught with dire consequences. It's akin to donning spectacles with the wrong prescription. Everything appears grotesquely distorted. Our mission, my dear listeners, is to let facts be our compass, guiding our views rather than the other way around. We must approach data with the curiosity of a child and the skepticism of a seasoned detective, ready to challenge our biases and alter our hypotheses in the face of new evidence. Seek truth, not validation. Consider the 19th century phrenologists, those charlatans who claimed that skull bumps revealed mental traits bolstered by so-called data, or the debacle of New Coke, launched based on taste tests that ignored brand loyalty data. The 2008 financial crisis, a catastrophe born of risk models riddled with flawed assumptions. And who could forget Gap's infamous 2010 logo relaunch, an exercise in folly that was rolled back within a week, despite a fortune spent. As we embark on another week of data wrangling and results reporting, let us recommit to being the stalwart guardians of truth. Let our analyses be driven by unvarnished facts, not by our preconceptions or the narratives we wish to propagate. How, you ask, do you ensure your work in data science remains steadfastly true to the facts? Pray, share your strategies for maintaining objectivity and integrity in your analyses in the podcast comments. Let us learn from one another and together uphold the sanctity of our discipline. Until next time, this is Cornelius P. Snarkington, urging you to pursue truth with unwavering resolve and a touch of well-placed skepticism.
And that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Data Science Rabbit Podcast. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you when I see you.
This has been the Data Science Rabbit Podcast, hosted by Michael Bagalman. Find the Data Science Rabbit Podcast on all your favorite social media, including YouTube and TikTok. Follow Michael on LinkedIn or visit datasciencerabbithole.com.